Welcome! Today's video, we're going to slow it down a little bit and do some yoga. So I'm going to guide you through a short sequence. You can really do anytime. If you're feeling really tight, one of the most tight places we see all the time is your hip flexors. Because where you live in such a sitting down culture, your hip flexors get really tight. And the other thing is shoulders, because we're constantly hunching over at the computer, hunching over at our phone, that a lot of the time we have this roundness forward into our shoulders. So today's yoga video is really going to focus on opening up your hips and your shoulders. So let's go ahead and get started. Coming to all fours, tucking your toes behind you. We're going to inhale, scoop the spine, look up to the ceiling, and exhale, rounding it in. Again, inhale, scoop the spine, look up to the ceiling. Exhale, rounding it in, looking at your belly button. One more time, inhale, scoop the spine, look up. And exhale, rounding through those shoulder blades and looking to your belly. Good, and then coming to a neutral spine, walk your hands out about 6 to 8 inches in front of you, making sure your index finger is pointing straight ahead. And you're going to push your hips up and back into downward dog. So maybe it's first thing in the morning right now for you, or late at night, and you've been sitting a lot today. Really, here, just move it around. Feel out your body. Start to warm up a little bit. Maybe pedaling the feet back and forth. Kind of bouncing your upper body towards your legs. Here, really contracting your quad, which is the muscle on the front of your thigh, to lift those thighs up and back behind you. Again, here you're trying to make an inverted V, so hips to the ceiling, getting a nice straight, flat back, trying to make yourself look like a V upside down. Good, one more breath here. And then bending your knees, looking in between your hands and stepping to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Nice flat spine here, so you may need to come up. Hands on your shins, hands on your thighs, whatever you need to do to keep this nice flat spine. Maybe your fingertips are on the ground if you have great flexibility. And then exhale, folding in. Now here, let's move the hips up and down a little bit, maybe pedal out your feet, right and left, move it around. You can grab the back of your calves. Again, moving those hips up and down like a spring. And here we're just trying to help warm up the body, lubricate your joints. Good. And then staying in this forward fold position, you're going to reach up and back, interlacing your fingers and start to bring them over your head. This is a great shoulder opener. We're going to do this a few times. So this first time, be really gentle. It's more about warming up right now. Might still be tight feeling, so this is just to get the feeling of starting the openness in the shoulders. So again here, contracting your quads, which will actually bring length into your hamstring. In order for one muscle to stretch, you actually have to contract the opposing muscle. So in order to stretch your hamstrings, in order to keep it safe and not injure your hamstrings, you actually need to contract the muscles on the front of your thigh to get that behind the thigh stretch. Good, one more breath here. And we're going to inhale, rise all the way up, flat back. Release your hands, hands to heart. Inhale, reaching up, looking up. Exhale, folding down and in. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, place your hands on the mat, step back, moving through your chaturanga, and inhaling to upward dog. Exhale, back into downward dog. Good, and then bending your legs, looking forward, jumping or stepping to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up, reach up, exhale, hands to heart, mountain pose. Again, inhale, look up, reach up, exhale, folding down and in. Inhale, lift halfway, stepping back, plank pose, exhaling through your chaturanga to upward dog, exhaling back, downward dog. Now bring your feet together. We're going to lift the left leg up and back, trying to square the hips. So notice I'm not really twisting in my hip. I'm keeping my hips level, but trying to bring that left leg as high as I can, getting a nice stretch. And now you can bend the knee and start to open up the hip. Good, and then you're going to exhale, slowly and carefully shift forward, bringing your foot in between your hands. Placing that right knee down, untucking the toe. Bring your hands together, interlacing all your fingers, but releasing that index finger. And inhaling your arms up and behind your ears. Good, and now here, try not to dump into your hips too much. Bring it up where you're actually tilting your tailbone, rotating it. So you're getting a nice stretch right now in that right hip. Good, inhaling your arms up, and you can start to move into a nice back bend here. Good, and then on your exhale, placing both hands inside your left foot, bringing your right knee up so that your right knee is underneath your right hip, leaving that left arm on the ground. Inhale, your right hand to the sky, looking up. This is a nice, easy twist. Good, and then exhaling down, framing the left foot, stepping back into plank, moving through vinyasa. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale back, downward facing dog. I'm going to move to the other side, so bringing that right foot up and back. Again, keeping those hips level. I'm not splaying my hips open and keeping them nice and square. Trying to lift that right leg as high as I can. And then bending the knee, and you can start to open the hip. Good. And exhaling, bringing that right foot top of the mat, gently placing the left knee down, coming up, Kali Mudra with the hands, so interlacing the fingers, releasing that index finger, bringing your arms up and back. Same thing here, don't dump into the hips. Using that core, keeping it safe. Starting to move into a back bend. Good, exhaling down. Both hands inside the right foot. Step the left foot up. Bringing that left knee directly into the left hip. And inhaling the left arm to the sky. Good, and exhale down. Framing the right foot, step it back, moving through another vinyasa. So chaturanga to upward dog. Good, put a nice smile on your face, because this should feel so good. You earned the stretch, you deserve it. Take care of your body. Good. And then bending your knees, looking to the top of the mat. Stepping or jumping. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Now interlacing those hands behind the back again. And bringing those arms up over your head. Going into the shoulder opener again. Maybe this time you're able to go a little bit further than you did last time. But again, contracting those quads. So you're also getting a hamstring stretch here. Good, and then releasing your hands to the floor. You're going to inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, place your hands flat on the mat. Stepping back with your right foot and coming into a nice runner's lunge here. So trying to lift your chest up off your thigh a little bit, not really dumping in, putting all your weight on that thigh. You should be feeling a stretch in this right hip flexor. And if you want to, you can move the left leg over just a little bit and start to bring your forearms down to the ground. But again, keeping a nice flat spine here. I'm not rounding in, keeping active. So if you need to, stay up in this position. One more breath here, and you're going to gently place the right knee down, untuck the foot, and move your hips back. Here, flexing the left foot. So flexing means bringing the toes to your face. Flexing that right foot so we can get a nice hamstring stretch here. Good, and if you can, if you want to work on splits, you may need to walk your foot a little bit more forward in that hamstring stretch. And then start to walk the right foot back. And if you're up higher, maybe grab some yoga blocks where you can hold on to them if you're up here. Otherwise, just trying to breathe into this pose. So here, you really have to have open hips. Also very loose hamstrings. And notice here, I'm actually flexing the muscle on the top of my leg because again, that will give me length in my hamstring. I'm also contracting this right butt cheek to give me length in my hip flexor. One more breath here. And then you're going to fold your left shin so that it's parallel to the top of your mat. We're going to move into pigeon. So inhaling, looking up, exhaling, starting to walk your hands down. And again, you may not get as far as me, and you know what? That's totally okay, because I was there too. And I did not have any flexibility, but if you do this sequence every day, or yoga every day, or some kind of stretching, you will get there too. So just walking it down to where you feel comfortable, and you're feeling this in the outside of your left hip. If you can, starting to walk the hands further in front of you, placing the forehead on the mat. And just breathing, sending the energy of your breath to where you feel it. Good. And then starting to come out of the pose, walking yourself back up. And then you're going to place your hands flat on the mat, tucking the right toe back behind you, and moving back into a downward dog. We're going to do that on the other side. First, we're going to bend the knees, look forward, step to the top of the mat. Go into that nice shoulder opener one more time. So interlacing the fingers, starting to bring your hands over your head. And just breathing here, feeling it. Good. One more breath. And exhale, release. Hands to the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, placing the hands flat on the mat. This time, stepping the left foot back, moving into that runner's lunge on the other side. So again here, not dumping too much into this front leg, trying to lift your chest up off the thigh. And if you want to, starting to move that right foot over just a little bit, both hands inside the right foot, bringing your forearms to the ground. Good. One more breath there. And exhale, gently place that left knee down on the ground, untuck the toe, coming up and straightening the right leg. Again, flexing that foot back towards your face. And again, here, think about folding at your hip. So we don't want to see rounded chest down in. It's more a length in the spine. You always want to keep length from the crown of your head to your tailbone. So in order to do that, you have to keep a nice flat back, and you're folding at your hip. So contracting this foot back towards your face, folding at the hip. Good, and then if you want to try to move into full splits, maybe walking that foot out in front of you a little bit, and then moving down towards the ground. And again here, I'm contracting this quad muscle. I'm also contracting my left glute to get a nice opening in that left hip. And if you're not all the way to the ground, you will get there. I promise. If you do this every day, I practice the splits every single day. And now I can hold it comfortably, but that took many months and a lot of practice. But I promise you can get there too if you stick with it. One more breath. Exhale, bringing that right foot so that it's parallel. Your shin is parallel to the top of the mat. Inhaling up. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe you feel a great stretch in your outer hip, just like this. And you know what? That's great. Good job. Otherwise, if you need a little bit more, start to walk your hands out in front of you. Maybe bringing your forearms to the ground. Or maybe starting to walk your hands all the way out in front of you. Placing the forehead to the mat. And just breathing here. Again, sending the energy of the breath where you feel it the most. Good. And then on your next inhale, starting to come out. This time, we're just going to spin around, sitting in a nice seated position. We're going to go into this butterfly position. So, soles of your feet are together. And if you need to, you might be out here and you might feel a great stretch in your hips, just like this. More advanced, you start to bring your feet in closer to your body. And I like to hold on to my feet, kind of open them up like a book, but you're keeping the pinky toes and outer edge of your feet together. And I start to bring my chest forward. And I use my arms to push on my shins to get a nice opening. And you could do the same thing if you're not quite there yet. Just gentle pressure on the legs. Again, don't push on your knee joint. Try to push below or above. So depending on your level, find what works for you. And start to move into this. And same concept here, you're folding at the hip. So we don't want to see a rounded back in like this. Instead, length through the spine. Nice flat back, I'm folding at my hips. Good. I'm using my arms for leverage to push my legs down closer to the ground. And you might find you have one side that's tighter than the other. I definitely do. I actually used to have a hip injury that I had surgery on, so this left hip has always been tighter for me. If you notice, this right knee is way closer to the ground than the left. And you know what? I'm working on that. So you might have imbalances too, you notice in your body. Maybe give a little extra special care to that tighter side and be a little more gentle with yourself. Good, one more breath and inhale, rising all the way up. Now, we're gonna lie flat on our backs, go into a nice twist. This is one of my favorite ways to end a yoga session. Bring both knees into your chest, rolling side to side, and then extending your left leg out long in front of you, squeezing that right knee into your chest, extending the right arm out like a T from your body, and then bring the right leg across your body, looking out over that right hand. And then bring it back into center, squeezing both knees into the chest, extending the right leg out in front of you, squeezing the left knee in, extending your left arm out from your body, making a T shape, and bringing your left knee across your body. So hopefully you enjoyed this short little yoga sequence that you can really add in any day of the week. You don't have to only do this one time a week. You could add it to the end of any workout that you're doing during this challenge. And if you enjoyed this video, also check out our other yoga video on YouTube, because it's really great to incorporate yoga into your routine and your lifestyle. It's done wonders for me and my body, and it's really the treat to the end of a workout, or taking care of your body in a new way. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Keep up the great work. You're doing an amazing job. See you next time.